What's going on, everyone? Bran here from Bloody Breakdown, and I'm going to do a bit of a spoiler-free review, as I haven't done one of these in quite some time, but really there hasn't been any new film in quite some time due to all the current circumstances going on in the world right now. It's been a crazy time, been a crazy year, but Shudder, the horror over-the-top streaming service, did bring us a brand new horror film entitled Host, which does take advantage of a lot of the things going on in this world right now with the pandemic, with the use of Zoom to communicate, to aid in social distancing. A lot of this is built in, ingrained into this film. So like I said, Host just released this Friday, if I'm not mistaken, courtesy of Shudder, and it's not even an hour-long film. It's about 56 or 58 minutes, somewhere close to the 1 hour mark. So it is, I first off want to say thank you for that, because I will say, as much as I do enjoy and love a really long tension builder or something along that nature, it's nice to have something that you can watch in an hour. It's nice to have something you can kill an hour with, watch, and first off, thank you guys for creating something new. Thank you for giving us new entertainment. I want to thank everyone who worked on this film, everyone at Shudder. Thank you very much, because regardless of how anyone feels about this film, these individuals gave us new entertainment, new content, at a time where that is extremely rare. And I think as horror fans and as cinema fans in general, we should all be appreciative of such. So the movie itself. And once again, it's going to be spoiler-free, so if you all haven't seen this, feel free to continue watching. I'm not going to be spoiling anything, but the movie does feature a group of friends who are meeting together on a Zoom call to have a seance of sorts. This is going to be led by a woman who I believe refers to herself as some sort of a psychic medium or something along those lines. And pretty much all hell ensues, as you would believe. This movie is very reminiscent of Unfriended, if anyone's familiar with that. I've heard a lot of people say that they preferred this movie to Unfriended. My personal comparison between the two is I don't see much of a difference. I think maybe that it was potentially more of a tension builder. And that's one of the things I can say about this film in general, that it does well. It is a very good tension builder, as a lot of these movies do tend to be, but I feel like Host did a particularly really good job of building the tension. Like I said, you have less than an hour in its entirety, credits and all, for this film to watch. So I think, especially with that time limit, they did a fantastic job of building tension. You can look at some of these movies by some of the more artsy horror directors like Robert Eggers, and you'll see, that slow burn tension builder where you may appreciate the filmmaking, but that tension never really builds to a crescendo that I feel like is worth the build to begin with. Especially being slow burns like they are. This one, I believe, does have, I think it's more effective in its building of tension. However, I think that the payoff is, in a lot of times, less than what I would have wanted to see, if that makes any sense. It's kind of hard to put some of these things into words whenever I'm watching the film, and I'm feeling what I'm feeling, and there's definitely that tension being built, but then I kind of feel let down when something happens. So essentially, the seance, as you would have assumed, goes haywire. Some supernatural things begin to go down, and of course this group of friends, being separated from one another, kind of have to help and guide each other through their own little nightmare scenarios that are going down for each one of them. Now, like I said, I'm not going to be spoiling anything, so I'm not going to go into how this actually starts. I will say that if this entity shows up as a result of what we are shown, as a result of what is speculated, a bit lame, I'll say that. but I don't think it takes away from the film too much. I have to say that the actor and actresses in this film, I think they did a really good job of conveying their fear, of their terror, of their uncertainty. They even come across very well as just your average everyday people at the beginning of the film when they're just conversing with one another. I think that the acting in the film was very well done. I think that the use of Zoom was very well done. It's pretty accurate as to how the app actually works. I think that one of the big issues I had with this, to kind of get off this ball washing segment, and just be honest, even I'll say all the things I said that were positive, true. But with some of the problems I had with this film, for example, I'll say that there, unlike Blair Witch, for example, there are some things shown. It's not all completely left up to your imagination. However, I wish they had have left these things up to our imagination, because seeing them, very disappointing for me. And I'm not going to say where or when or how, obviously, spoiler-free review, but what I will say is that when there is a payoff as it relates to what one of these monsters, demons, whatever you want to call them, looks like, it is very disappointing. It does kind of come across as a jump scare from a YouTube video or something like that. That part was really disappointing for me. I know they're working on a shoestring budget, and that's why I would have suggested, not that I'm a filmmaker or anything, just an avid film watcher, I would have suggested less is more in this one and kind of went the route of Blair Witch. But, I respect them for doing what they did. I just don't think that it worked for me. It could work for you, but as much as I praise this thing for being a good tension builder, I have to also admit that it is, very jump scare heavy, to the point to where it almost becomes an annoyance at some points. I'm sure you've all seen these films where they have a reliance, they completely rely on jump scares. I'm not going to say this film relies on jump scares, but it slightly does lean on jump scares. Let's say that. It uses it as somewhat of a crutch. Definitely not throughout the entire film, because like I said, very good job at building tension. But, the unfortunate thing is that most of the time, the tension building leads to a pathetic-looking creature that you could have found on a YouTube jump scare, creepypasta video, whatever, or just, cheap jump scares that, lead from nothing. So, I think this problem, the film for me, while I did enjoy it overall, I think that it has a problem with execution. There's really good build-up, really good tension. However, when it comes to executing what you've been building up for, I think there's a bit of a failure on that part. But overall, I'll say this: in the end, if you have an hour to burn, if you're a horror fan, if you're just a fan of cinema and you're looking for something new, I would definitely go and check it out. I will say that the pros outweigh the cons in this film, and I would say it's definitely worth taking a look at, especially in the time we're in. And one more time, just to reiterate what I said at the beginning of the video, I feel almost bad having anything negative to say about this film, because it is good. It is. And I just really appreciate the fact that these people at Shudder and the people that worked on the film gave us something as far as cinema, as far as entertainment, when that's very rare right now. So I do appreciate that. I do thank them for their efforts. I do think the film is definitely worth checking out. In case you haven't figured it out yet, the only place to watch is at Shudder. So if you don't have a subscription, I do believe they are offering a free week trial right now. So head on over to Shudder and you can watch it for absolutely free. If you don't like it, within a week, you can go ahead and shut that down as well. And no, I'm not being sponsored by Shudder to say that. Just want everyone who is, living in the world we're in right now to be able to have access to some kind of entertainment. Like I said, especially if you're a film or specifically horror film fan, go check out Host. It's on Shudder right now. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I think the less the better, especially when you're doing something spoiler-free like this. So, with that said, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. If you have seen Host, you can leave some comments down below, but bear in mind we are being spoiler-free here, so try to make the comments reflect that as well. If you haven't seen it, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions down below in the comment section, or if you just like to leave any comment about what we've talked about in this video in general, feel free. Just once again want to reiterate, keep it spoiler free if you've seen the film. Also, if you haven't already, feel free to hit subscribe and even turn on that notification bell right next door to it, so you'll be notified every time I go live or upload. If you're a big fan of horror cinema, I'd say that it's probably a good idea to go ahead and do that. Also, in the description section, ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple of links where you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, or even support my work via Patreon. That would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, I guess that's going to wrap it up. That's my spoiler-free review for Host. Go check it out if you haven't already. Let me know what you all think. I'm Brent from Bloody Breakdown, and we'll catch you all next time.